On the Isle of Cyprus stands a mountain tall and above all the rest, and Troodos it is called. Cyprus is one of the few countries in the world where geology stands out as the determining factor in both the shaping of its natural environment and its historical, cultural and socio-economic development, both in antiquity and in modern times. The genesis of the island was the result of a series of unique and complex geological processes, rendering Cyprus a geological model for Earth scientists the world over, thereby contributing to the understanding of how oceans, and by extension, how the Earth itself evolved. For the inhabitants of Cyprus as well as for visitors to the island, it's difficult to imagine that the pine-covered and with rich flora snow-covered peak of Troodos is an ophiolite, that is to say, a section of oceanic crust formed by volcanic activity in the depths of a vast and ancient ocean 3,000 meters below sea level some 90 million years ago. Indisputable proof of this is the bed of this river, along which we're guided by two Cypriot geologists. Dr. George Konstantinou and Mr. Yanakis Panagidis.
Γεωγραφικά βρισκόμαστε στην κήτη του ποταμού της Μαρούλενας, στην περιοχή του καλού χωριού Κλήρου. Γεωλογικά περπατούμε στον πυθμένα της Τυθίας θάλασσας, ενός ωκεανού που εκτινόταν μεταξύ των λιθοσφαιρικών πλακών της Ευρασίας και της Αφρικής 90 εκατομμύρια χρόνια πριν. Εδώ μπορούμε να παρατηρήσουμε, να μελετήσουμε και να κατανοήσουμε γεωλογικές διεργασίες που συμβαίνουν και εξακολουθούν ακόμη να συμβαίνουν στους πυθμένες των σημερινών ωκεανών και κυρίως την υποθαλάσσια δραστηριότητα, την οποία μπορούμε μόνο να παρατηρήσουμε σήμερα με ειδικά κατασκευασμένα και εξοπλισμένα βαθυσκάφη. Η περιοχή λοιπόν παρουσιάζει έναν τεράστιο επιστημονικό και ιδιαίτερα γεωλογικό ενδιαφέρον.
The various rock formations we see on the banks of the river and which constitute a pole of attraction for Earth scientists the world over are quite simply lava flows which spewed forth from the bottom of the Tethys Sea at a depth of more than 3 kilometres. In order for one to comprehend the manner in which these rocks were formed, as well as that of the Troodos Massif in general, one should be aware of the structure of the Earth and the fundamental processes and rearrangements occurring in its crust for billions of years now. The crust is the outer shell of the Earth, and it's either continental or oceanic. Beneath the crust is the mantle, which is in a semi-plastic state. Beneath the mantle and all the way to the center of the Earth is the core. This is separated into the outer core, which is in a fluid state, and the inner core, which is solid. The crust and part of the mantle constitute the lithosphere. According to the theory of plate tectonics, the surface of the Earth is divided into a small number of rigid lithospheric plates which are in constant motion, thereby creating what is known as continental drift. Scientists consider the movement of tectonic plates as the result of the constant and circular movement of the plastic material contained within the mantle, resulting in the plates either moving parallel to one another, away from each other, or even colliding with one another.
Ο γεωγραφικός χώρος που καταλαμβάνει σήμερα η Κύπρος αποτελούσε τα όρια διεύρυνσης του πυθμένα της Τυθίας θάλασσας, όπου οι λιθοσφαιρικές πλάκες απομακρύνονταν η μια από την άλλη, με αποτέλεσμα μάγμα να ανεβαίνει από τον μαντίαν της γης, να χύνεται στον πυθμένα της θάλασσας και να γεμίζει τον κενό χώρο που δημιουργούσε η απομάκρυνση των λιθοσφαιρικών πλακών, σχηματίζοντας έτσι νέον ωκεάνιο φλοιό.
And then, 90 million years ago, lava began flowing out from the depths of the earth, pouring onto, amassing, and solidifying on the floor of the Tethys Sea. The first stages of the creation of Troodos and Cyprus itself were being recorded. Characteristic signs of these solidified lavas today, which, given their shape, geologists call pillow lavas, can be observed on the banks of the Maroulena River.
Ένα χαρακτηριστικό της περιοχής είναι οι φυσαλίδες οι οποίες δημιουργηθήκαν από την έκκληση των αερίων τα οποία περιείχαν μέσα στο μάγμα. Βασικό συστατικό των αερίων είναι το διοξείδιο του άνθρακα. Αξίζει να αναφέρουμε ότι κάθε χρόνο στους βυθούς των ωκεανών χύνονται 10 εκατομμύρια κυβικά χιλιόμετρα λάβας, τέτοιας λάβας.
Of these veritable rivers of lava, which so many millions of years ago similarly flowed out onto the seabed, all that remains today are these flow-like rock formations. These are nothing but solidified lava which, while still fluid, was brought up from the depths of the earth through these channels. The Troodos lavas are separated by geologists into two main horizons, the upper and the lower. Here, on the banks of the Maroulena River, geologists can study the various phases of underwater volcanic activity and primarily the lower horizon, which, as we can see, comprises pillow lavas traversed by veins of solidified magma which fed the upper lava horizon.
Οι λάβες του Τροόδους που σχηματίστηκαν από τις διάφορες φάσεις της υποθαλάσσιας ηφαιστειακής δράσης. Εκτός από το διαφορετικό σχήμα και χρώμα, έχουν και διαφορετική χημική σύσταση που οφείλεται στη αρχική χημική σύσταση του μάγματος. Αυτή, για παράδειγμα, η φλέβα στερεοποιημένου μάγματος, η οποία τροφοδότησε τις ανώτερες λάβες, έχει διαφορετική πετρολογική σύσταση και χρώμα από τις περιβάλλουσες λάβες του κατώτερου ορίζοντα.
In addition to the Maroulena riverbed, lava formations are found in many other areas on the foothills of the Troodos Mountains, with these forming a geographical ring extending across an area of approximately 600 square kilometres. Here, in the bed of the Camara River, west of Malunda village, one sees a prevalence of lava flows as opposed to pillow lavas, a fact indicating that the red-hot lava had a low viscosity, that is to say, it flowed more freely. On the contrary, in the area north of Mizero, one observes a prevalence of pillow lavas, indicating that the red-hot lava had a high viscosity, that is to say, it was thicker in texture.
Αυτή η εμφάνιση των λαβών παρουσιάζει εξαιρετικό ενδιαφέρον για τους γεωεπιστήμονες όλου του κόσμου, διότι μας δείχνει παραστατικά πώς σχηματίζεται το μαξιλαροδές σχήμα των λαβών του Τροόδους. Το μάγμα χύνεται στη θάλασσα στον βυθό της θάλασσας σε μια θερμοκρασία 1200 βαθμών Κελσίου, αντιδρά με το παγωμένο νερό και σχηματίζει περιφερειακές ζώνες απόψυξης, καθώς επίσης και ένα στρογγυλό σχήμα για τις λάβες.
In addition to the geological processes taking place on the seabed, on Troodos we can also observe and study geological processes occurring deeper within the oceanic crust. A typical example of such processes is given by the bed of the Xeros River south of the village of Xeros.
Γεωλογικά βρισκόμαστε στο σύστημα πολλαπλών φλεβών. Είναι μια σειρά επάλληλων που αντιπροσωπεύει τα στερεοποιημένα κανάλια μεταφοράς του μάγματος που ανέρχεται από τον μαντίαν της γης και εκκίνεται στον πυθμένα των θαλασσών. Κάθε φλέβα αντιπροσωπεύει και έναν άνοιγμα και το γέμισμα του κενού που δημιουργείται από την απομάκρυνση των λιθοσφαιρικών πλαγών. Ενώ στην κήτη του ποταμού της Μαρούλενας είμαστε στον πυθμένα του ωκεανού, εδώ βρισκόμαστε πολύ βαθύτερα, χιλιόμετρα βαθύτερα μέσα στον ωκεάνιο φλοιό.
The multiple flow system occupies approximately half of the area of the entire Troodos Massif. These vein-like formations, also known as diabase, are the hardest and most resilient in the entire range. The manner in which they were shaped, as well as their spallation, render them suitable for building, something which was soon discovered and utilized by the local artisans in Cyprus's traditional architecture. These grey-green igneous rocks can at times be either hard, bulky and compact, at other times vein-like in appearance or spellated, thus giving rise to a varied landscape which can be idyllic and tranquil or rough. It's not accidental that a number of legends and traditions of Cyprus are connected with the grandeur and wild beauty of such formations, such as here on the Madari escarpment, where folklore places the Rigena, the most familiar but at the same time most mysterious figure of Cypriot legends and traditions, bathing in the waterfalls which once abounded in the region. The physical and mechanical properties of diabase rocks, as well as their mineral composition, render them suitable for the manufacture of aggregates, namely gravel and sand used in the construction industry, one of Cyprus's largest industries that employs a large percentage of the island's workforce and boasts significant investments, with the aggregates also used in road construction. At present, these materials are extracted by on-site crushing of diabase and carbonate rocks in modern crushing plants. Petra του Ρωμιού, where geology, abundant natural beauty, myth, tradition, and the sun, sea, and azure sky engage in constant interplay, creating a truly dreamlike vista. Here, according to mythology, Aphrodite, the goddess of beauty and fertility, rose from the foam of the waves. Petra του Ρωμιού itself is a large crystallized limestone flanked by other smaller rocks both in the sea and on shore. 200 million years ago, these limestone blocks were coral reefs which fringed oceanic volcanic islands. This is the reason why in the Petra του Ρωμιού area we see them side by side with lava-based rock. It's here, in the area just south of Petra του Ρωμιού, that geologists place the collision of the African plate with the Eurasian. The African plate was subducted by the Eurasian, a process begun 70 million years ago, initiating the rise of Troodos and its emergence from the sea, just like another Aphrodite.